Hello, everybody, and welcome to a podcast. This is a little anime awards doohickey type dealio. It's something that happened last year as well. And with me, as it was last year, is Metahulk. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing fine, Loat. How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's great to have you on here again. Great that you suggested it again. I thought it was a fun time last year, and this time I think I've seen more of the shows, so it won't be as much of me sitting here like a fool while you share all your sick knowledge with the world.
Yeah, yeah. And this time, this anime awards is special. It is like featuring Dante from Devilman Crybaby. So that's a new fun thing.
Yeah, I don't really I guess that's just the company is sponsoring it or something.
Yeah,
like
they are.
I'm confused. Like it's just funny featuring Devil May Cry, and there's nothing related to that in here, but
Yeah.
that's how it goes, I guess. They give the big monies.
Yep.
Awesome. So yeah, we're just gonna go through each category, give our opinions on which of these either shows or characters or whatever we think should win, and we're gonna vote on that. Yeah, I haven't seen all of them. I've seen lots of them. With most categories, it seems that I've seen like 4 out of the 6. How does that seem for you, Metahulk?
It seems with like the protagonist. I haven't seen Agretzko, so they have a lot of nominations from that show. So that is one
Yeah,
that
I haven't seen that one either.
Yeah, I need to watch it.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll be silent on that show, but otherwise, I think we've both, at least one of us, has seen it or seen part of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, the first one to go with here is Best Protagonist. So there's the 6 nominations here. I'm going to put them up on the screen as we're talking about each one, so we don't have to read through each of the potential nominees before we get started with each one.
Yeah.
But with this one, my feeling is I'm not really sure. I've seen 4 of these shows. I've seen Megalobox, Violet Evergarden, that time I got reincarnated as a slime. I've seen part of that one. And Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai.
Yeah.
Out of those 4, I feel like it would either be Sakuta or Rimuru.
Yeah, Rimru's really interesting. He's like really fun to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, I like him a lot. It's nice that it's nice to have a character in the fantasy world who isn't the one causing the problems. Like, he's kind of the more mature figure and the one who's willing to put aside his ego to just try to be a good bloke, and that's enjoyable to watch.
Yeah. It's like really rare in like isekai. It's generally the main protagonist that is like causing the trouble. Like Rimru's like the good guy. He's just like, yeah, I'll guide you people. I'll help you out with this.
Yeah. And based on the way that it was set up, I honestly thought that he was going to be like kind of a pervert or something, based on the way that he is like, I'm going to screw every girl I see in this new fantasy world. But then that's not really a thing at all. Like, he's just a nice guy all the time.
Yeah.
At least I've seen the first like 8 episodes, and there's been nothing to indicate that he's not just a wonderful human being so far.
No, he is actually just like a good guy.
Yeah. Which is really pleasant. I mean, it's simple, but it's pleasant. He just kind of wants to have friends and be pleasant.
Yeah.
So I liked him a lot. I also liked Sakuta quite a bit.
Yeah.
Because that character was fun.
There's like...
What did you think of them?
The best protagonist, I don't know, like these shows weren't like held together by the protagonist. I think Slime and Bunny Girl Senpai are the like only shows that were like held together by the protagonist, because Violet Evergarden has the amazing production value and like the soundtrack and everything else to it. Like Violet herself is not like a really strong protagonist figure. She is good, but she's not like really that much of like a standalone character. And same goes for like Megalobox. Joe is like he's a good character, but he's not something like, again, who can't like you can't surround the series around this guy, because I think Nambu was much more of an interesting character than Joe. So
yeah, I agree. In the end, they kind of played off each other, and that's what made them work.
Yeah.
If it was about duos, then I think that could work pretty well. If it was like the best duos, but as far as the best individual character, I don't feel like Joe was that for me at all.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that compulsive gambler show or Agaretsuko. I have no idea how you say that.
Yeah, Gretzko.
I haven't seen either of those ones though, so I don't know how good those protagonists are.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the gambler?
Yeah, I've seen Kakiguri. So Kakiguri is basically Jabami Yumeko is like a crazy kind of gambler person. So her whole personality, she's like just over the top and like crazy kind of person. So she's like an interesting character to watch, but not like protagonist kind of vibe.
Oh, okay.
So in the end, it just comes up to like Rimuru or Sakuta. I think I'll give
Yeah.
I'll just like go with Sakuta on this one.
Okay, so what do you like about that character?
Oh, Sakuta, for like a really long time, I basically like these kind of like witty kind of characters. Like one of my favorite shows is like Snafu, and he has like there they have Hachiman, who is like another one of these like
Mhm.
loner kind of isolated kind of like witty kind of person who just has like quick dialogues and quick exchanges. So Sakuta also has
Yes.
that, and it's been a really long time that I enjoyed like characters interacting with each other, like Mai and Sakuta. So
Mhm.
I really like Sakuta a lot. But Rimru's also like there, but I think Sakuta wins on this one.
Yeah, I also really liked Sakuta.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the arcs in the show, the best ones for me were the ones that involved him helping other people while also kind of learning something about himself and going through some sort of growth himself. And they managed to have him improve as a person and grow a bit without him ever seeming obnoxious. They also had him be very direct
Level-headed
about his feelings about people and for people, which is a pleasant change of pace, I thought. That was quite different from most of those sorts of shows I've seen. Maybe I just haven't seen enough of them, but that's the feeling I got from it. So I think I would probably lean towards him as well, because I feel like in that case, he is what makes that show work the way it does. He's what allows all these different other characters to kind of allows the audience to jump between these other characters and have it feel cohesive, and he's a likable personality. And I think if you like him, you'll probably like the show. If you don't like him, you probably won't like the show.
Yeah,
and
it's
I liked him.
completely like he's binding the show together. Like he's the center of all
Yeah,
the
yeah,
events. So
so-
it's basically like Monogatari. If you don't like Araragi, you won't enjoy the show.
Yeah, I think that's pretty true to a certain degree. And some of the comparisons there definitely made sense to me, and I really liked that show. So yeah, I think I would also go with Sakuta. Maybe once I've seen more of that time I got reincarnated as a slime, then I would move towards Rimuru, but that show's not even aired completely yet, so I
Yeah.
can't say for that character and what his arc might be in the future episodes. So I guess with that, we can move on to the best antagonist.
Yeah.
And I think you've seen all of these, right?
Yep, I've seen all of these.
Yeah, I've seen 4 of them. The ones I haven't seen are Golden Kamuy, or however you say it, and Overlord 3.
Okay. Yeah, they're basically sequels.
So I haven't seen those ones. What are your thoughts on this? Who's your favorite?
It's really tough because I can't like pick anyone out of them. Like I enjoyed All for One's character, but he didn't have like a really big kind of like presence. He was just there for like few episodes,
Yeah.
then he was gone. He's a really interesting antagonist, but I think he needs more time to have an arc over these people. I think Yuri would be the most weakest one for me because like similarly, like in Megalobox, it was like Joe and Yuri's chemistry, like them bouncing off of each other that made him interesting. Other than that, I think Yuri alone as an antagonist is not that good. Then like similar for like All for One. Then after like I'm just trying to move it up from like bottom to top. Then I think the next one would be like for me Akane Shinjo. She was just kind of like a monster of the week. Like she made the monsters in Gridman. So she until the very last few episodes she didn't have like a direct influence to the story. So like a lot of people like her character and she's pretty interesting. I would agree, but the most strongest one here would be like Ryo as the like antagonist. But like if we look at like other shows with like Momonga, he's basically the protagonist, but he's like the villain of the series. He's like a really interesting character, but Overlord like moves like is more world building focused than the character. So he's just like he feels like a generic anime protagonist, your isekai protagonist. But the thing is that like try to, if you remove the world building from Overlord, I think Momonga himself alone is not that good. And then last
okay.
of the least, my personal favorite from this is Surumi from Golden Kamui. He's a really,
Okay.
really great character. Like, if you haven't seen Golden Kamui, I would really recommend you watch it, because he's such an eccentric and like such a smart character. He,
Yeah.
like, it's really interesting how his like brain works, because one of the character traits is that he has a part of his brain blown off during the war. So that's why he wears that white plate.
Oh.
So he basically
Yeah.
has these like sudden strokes, or not strokes, maybe like attacks in which he just gets aggressive, and sometimes but he like controls it. So he's like a really smart and like calculating character, similar to Momonga, but he can like actually stand alone by himself as a character. So I think like
Oh, okay.
for me, I think it will be like either Ryo or Tsurumi. I can't say much for Ryo. I think you would be like better in explaining Ryo's character. So I would like to hear what you have to say about this little
Oh yeah.
cute little boy.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Out of these guys, for me, definitely the two. Like if I slice out two of them, then Yuri's gone and All for One's gone. All for One, for the reason you gave, he didn't have that much time to develop anything really. Maybe later he'll become more interesting. And Yuri worked really well within the series. Honestly, Megalobox just wasn't that memorable for me. I really liked the aesthetic of it. I really liked a lot of stuff about it. The music was great, but the characters don't really stick out in my mind at all.
Yeah.
And then there's Akane Shinjo, who was an interesting character, but to me, the best episodes in that show were the ones that honed in on her and really took the time to explore her mindset. But those were few and far between. And overall, I wasn't the biggest fan of SSSS.Gridman. I thought it was a bit messy and a bit convoluted, and I did not like how it wrapped up. And since the way it wrapped up directly involves and impacts her arc, that really kind of soured her character for me, without getting into too much spoilers.
Yeah.
Whereas Ryo, I really liked Ryo's character in that, I mean, he's a sketchy guy from the outset, but seeing just how messed up he is and how conflicted he is was an entertaining journey, and he's kind of the thematic center of that show. And I think that Devilman Crybaby does a better job of having the antagonist as its thematic core than Gridman did. He was thoroughly entertaining, really interesting to watch, and some of the revelations involving his character were quite compelling, and his relationship with the main character, with this sort of friendship they have, and their closeness that's quite genuine in a lot of ways, really moved Devilman Crybaby forward for me, and that's what made me enjoy it so much. So for me, he easily wins this one.
Okay. Yeah, I think you have your reason, but I think if you like had watched Golden Kamuy, I think Surumi would have also been like your close second, because this guy.
Well, maybe I would have liked him more.
Yeah.
How do you like
this guy's?
Have you read the manga for that? At all?
Yep. I'm actually caught up with Golden Kamuy.
Okay, would you recommend the manga? Because I wasn't a huge fan of the first couple episodes of the anime, even though I felt like the story seemed interesting.
The CG bear, yeah, right.
Yeah, that really took me out of it.
Yeah. No, for most people that was the case. Basically, like they couldn't watch it because of the CGI bear. But like in this, they improved a lot in the second season because they didn't have the bear involved.
Oh, okay.
They actually removed an complete arc regarding in which they had a bear. And they like shifted it.
Really?
Yeah. They just shifted it for like an OVA so that they can work on it later.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They got a lot of backlash because of that single bear.
Well, it's just the sort of thing where I look at it and it's like, if this was an original series and no manga existed, I might continue through it. But when I see that, I start to question the adaptation and I go, maybe I'm just going to go read the source material for this. And then if I really love it, I can come back to this later.
Yeah. No, the adaptation is really...
Which means I probably won't come back to it.
Yeah. No, the adaptation is good. I would recommend like if people who are like, who get into the manga, to actually check out the second season, because the second season has like some really interesting cuts in it. They actually experiment a little bit with how they animate the characters. They actually, in one episode, I remember for some part of the episode, they actually changed the character models. So it was pretty interesting to see them. The characters went from like these masculine looking guy to like some kind of Cartoon Network looking characters for like a few minutes for comedic effect. And that wasn't in the manga, so it was good. I would recommend the manga a lot. Like, it was nominated for like the best manga last year, I think. So yeah, Golden Kamuy is great. Like,
yeah, I'll definitely give the manga a shot, because I should read more of that anyways. I don't read enough of that stuff, and I've grown to appreciate it more over the years. Yeah, I guess for now, let's move on to Best Boy.
Yep.
Best Boy. Oddly enough, from what I've seen of the shows, this is the one that I would probably choose Rimuru for.
Oh, yeah.
But he's not here.
And he isn't like even nominated.
Yeah. Like, I would have easily chosen him for this, but he's gone. He doesn't exist here. So I guess we're going with other characters.
Yeah, I think Rimuru would have been more suited instead of Joe in this category.
Yeah. Because he's just like such a sweet guy.
Yeah.
He's such a sweet man.
He's really adorable. Like, I would love to have a plushie of like Rimuru's slime form.
Yeah. Yeah. It's such a nice show. It's just so pleasant. Just makes me feel warm and fuzzy and good inside.
Yeah. It's a really good like feel good show with like your isekai kind of thing.
Yeah. I like it a lot, and I like his character's the main reason for that. But I guess he's not here. So out of these guys, who do you think you would choose for this?
Simple. It's Kotaro Tatsumi from Zombieland Saga.
So you're full on with him.
Straight up. I wouldn't even debate. I mean, that guy is basically just Mamoru Miyano having a fun time. I mean, I just love it.
I do like him a lot. I wouldn't choose him for this. I'm going to probably choose him for a different one he's at later.
Okay.
I didn't, for the Best Boy, I'm looking for like a real swell young lad. That's for me. That's how I view it. And he's not quite the swell young lad I would look for in life.
Okay.
He's like a grown-ass man.
Yeah,
Wait,
I think
he's
he's like around.
He's a big boy.
25 or 24 in the series.
Yeah, this should be the best man category, and then it can just be him.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm being kind of pedantic, but I would go with. I think for this one, I would go with Sakata too, with the big caveat that if my boy Rimuru was over here, I'd be choosing him. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Anyway, you were in love with Kotaro, though.
Oh man, I love his character. He's basically like best guy ever, and like Arcada's aesthetic mixed with like Mamoru Miyano having a lot of fun. Basically, I just love Mamoru Miyano so much. That guy is like, he actually makes me love characters so much. Like your Okabe Rintaro, and he has another character in some series I can't seem to remember. He has a character in Golden Kamuy as well. I can't seem to remember him, but he's great. Mamoru Miyano's so good. So I'm just going with Kotaro. Like Honda sounds like, I don't know, because of the format the show followed. I don't feel that much attached to Honda-san, because he was a good character. Honda-san is basically a self-insert of the author from the time when he worked in the bookstore. So, yeah, I don't know about, like, if you haven't seen this show, Loat?
No, I haven't seen it yet. I definitely want to watch it. I've heard good things, and it's a short one, so I plan to check it out.
The first episode is so strong it's like, the first episode is like the best episode.
Oh.
Yeah, I would highly recommend it. Like, if you don't watch the whole show, just watch the first episode.
Yeah, because the episodes are like 3 minutes long, right?
No, 11 minutes long.
11? Oh, okay, half length.
Yeah.
So that's still good.
Yeah.
I kind of like sometimes when shows do the half length episodes. It's nice to just turn something on and fly through it.
Yeah, it's good.
Nice. Yeah, I'll have to check that one out. So that's good there. And then, next up we got Best Girl.
Yeah, this one is like really...
This is the one for me. That's just obvious. For me, this is just obvious.
Okay, I want to know your obvious, because I'm really conflicted in this one, because I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 characters that I love.
Okay. Well, I haven't seen Golden Kamuy, so I don't know if that character is great. Maybe they are. But for me, this one's easily Anzu.
Yeah, of course. Anzu's like...
Anzu's amazing.
Yeah.
She's like... She is Like, I really like a lot about that show, but I don't think it would work without her at all, because she's like the weird feel good aspect of the show that you don't think is going to be feel good at all, and has this weirdly what would I say,
fuzzy feeling, or like,
I guess like weirdly mature arc to her character that I wouldn't expect from a comedy, and that I didn't expect at all going into the show, and it gave the show a lot of heart. For me, that I felt was what made it stand out. Like, when I think of that show, I think of that character and her arc, and like how funny but also heartwarming it was.
Yeah, like I think with Golden Kamuy, I associate Anzu more than Hina. Sorry, not Golden Kamuy. I mean, for Hina Matsuri, I associated with more more with Anzu, and the other girl with the black hair. I'm forgetting her name. And and a little less with Hina, but yeah, Anzu's like a real angel.
She's great.
Yeah.
But for you, you're very conflicted.
Yeah,
so
I just came and like decided like to choose her, but I like the other characters, other 5 characters as well. But yeah, Anzu has a little arc over them, a little advantage.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because I mean, Lily was a really solid character as well.
Oh yeah.
I liked what they did with her, her whole
arc,
her whole shindig with her dad. That was a very nice episode.
Oh, that was a really sweet episode.
Yeah, that was pleasant. If her arc had been focused on a bit more, then maybe here. But
yeah,
I liked the idea of that arc. I felt like it was a little bit half-baked personally. But we'll get more into my feelings on Zombieland Saga when we get to the anime of the year vote. I mean, Mai was really nice. Nadeshiko, I'm sorry to everyone who knows any level of Japanese and knows that I'm just like murdering. I am murdering the Japanese language. The Nihongo will die at my feet. Let's not take that soundbite out of context. But yeah, so I mean, very warm and fuzzy, very pleasant show. That character is really pleasant. Never finished that show. I watched a couple episodes. Enjoyed it thoroughly, but I wasn't compelled to watch more.
Eurocamp was a really good show. I loved the show.
Yeah, I definitely respect it for what it is a lot. It was just so, I mean, everyone says this, but it was such a comfy show. I haven't been in the mood for a comfy show for a little while, but if I am, then I'm just gonna like run back to that one, because it just had such a wonderful aesthetic for it, wonderful soundtrack, wonderful characters for that. It seemed just like a very pleasant, feel-good show.
Yeah, it definitely was. I just love the ending song it has. It's a shame. Like, we'll get to the ending, so then I'll talk a little about that.
Oh, I'm triggered about the openings and the endings, potentially. Okay, I'm happy. We can both be really triggered together. So I guess with that, we might as well move on into best opening sequence, which is a farce, by the way. It is a farce. I legitimately don't understand this. It confuses me.
Yeah.
Because where is, and I'm sure you share the sentiment, what is that show called? Kokoku?
Yeah, Kokoku. Yeah, that was a straight up the best opening of the year.
Yeah. The show isn't very good from what I saw. I didn't enjoy it that much, at least. But the opening was just
is so banging.
Whoever made that, I applaud them. It is amazing. It doesn't matter if you've seen the show. Go everybody, just watch the Kokoku OP. You are missing out on just an amazing piece of art in its own right. And the fact that it's not here perturbs me deeply.
Kokoku was like robbed, just straight up.
Yeah. And the reason why I'm mad is because I know that if I had like somehow made something that beautiful, and then I looked at this, I'd be like, okay, I can't care about award shows because that's silly business to care too much. But what the hell, guys? Like, what is this? What have you done? Why would you do this?
Yeah. I think like in this category, it's just, I for some reason, I feel like Wotakoi was just like a way for them to apologize to Yoshikage Kira losing last year.
Oh, yeah.
Because like Yoshikage Kira has this kind of hand kind of fetish, and like this opening has such great hand animation specifically.
There is a lot of hand animation that's very nice, admittedly. That's not, my rant is not to say that these are all bad or anything. It's just that I'm very perplexed. I'm very confused, but yeah, I guess out of these, I would probably go for that one. Because I liked it. It was cool, good animation. I honestly don't even know because I just looked at this one and made kind of a face at it,
Mm-hmm.
and then I kept scrolling because I didn't want to accept it, which is also how I feel about there being no best soundtrack for this.
Oh yeah, it's a shame because like there are so many good like shows this year with great soundtracks.
Yeah. I mean, I'm disturbed. I'm deeply disturbed. Like, you're telling me, folks, that we couldn't slip in a little best soundtrack here? Come
Yeah,
on.
like
Let's not be silly.
yeah, like I appreciate the best VA like voice actor performance in Japanese and English both, but this is such a shame they removed the soundtrack category.
Yeah. And there's like no reason, like, did somebody say that they have a finite amount of space for categories? Maybe
Yeah.
somebody did. I don't know why. I'm perplexed. I am disturbed. Anyway, my disturbance doesn't matter too much. That's okay.
Universe
But
goes on.
I guess we can, unless you had more to say about those opening sequences. Like, did you have any more to say about the opening sequences?
No, I don't know. Like the only like I would have voted for Kakegurui last year, but this year I don't feel like voting for it. Like it released on like in US this year, but like already watched the show last year, and it's a really good opening. Like out of all these, I think I would prefer this one because the Part 5 JoJo's opening compared to the Part 4's opening chase or any opening like from Part 1. No,
Oh,
from
yeah.
not Part 1, Part 4. Part 4 had like a superior opening like from JoJo. So I don't think JoJo's like this time's opening is it's good,
Yeah.
but it's not that strong. So I think like Pop Team Epic's OP was really experimental, and I haven't seen the Agresco, so I can't say that. And I don't know, like Vodakui was just the hand animation. It was pretty funky to watch and listen to. But I don't know, I'll have to go with like Darling in the Franxx with this one, with the symbolism and everything they had
Yeah.
in the opening, irrespective of how the
Okay,
show
well,
ended.
yeah,
but
that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's kind of a, you just throw a vote in because we don't know what happened. Best ending sequence. I legitimately think I've only seen Megalobox's ending sequence. I haven't seen any of these other ones.
Yep. I think I have like seen 3 of them, so I can't say much. So yeah, adding 2 different openings from same series endings. I mean, from the same series, kind of like feels like
that's
cheating.
That's true. As
you know,
I don't know.
like I love the original FLCL, and I haven't seen the new one, so I can comment on that. But come on, guys, like there's a place missing for like so many good endings this year. My personal favorite, I think, this year was like while if like looking at how they have chosen the endings visually. If you're speaking, I don't know about the Review Starlight one, because I heard it's like the musical scenes in the show is pretty good, and I don't know about the ending, but visually I think the most interesting one was Attack on Titans.
Okay.
If you're talking about animation, then simplistic and minimalistic way, I love the Megalobox one.
Oh, yeah.
Like the song was really banger as well, and as a song I really love the ending of After the Rain. But on top of all of these, like there's like a song, and I think many people haven't watched the show. The show's name is Tadakun wa Koi to Shinai. It's called Tadakun Never Falls in Love. So that song has a really, really sweet ending song. Like the song's name is Love Song. It's basically the VA of the female protagonist singing the song like in like sorrow of like missing her lover. It's a really sweet song. The visuals are also like pleasant to watch. Like there are so many great endings if you're just going by the songs, right? Like the ending of Bloom Into You, then Yuru Camp, and Tadakun. So I don't know. Out of all of these, I think I might vote for the Attack on Titan one because the song actually captured the complete feeling of what was going inside the show, and didn't feel
That
like
makes sense.
disconnected from the show. Like the ending felt like to be a part of the show. That's why I think I'll go with Attack on Titan. It's this one.
Nice. Fair decision. The only one I've seen is Megalobox, so I'm gonna, after much consideration, I'm gonna have to put in my vote for Megalovox.
Won by a
I think.
landslide.
I did legitimately really like the ending for that show, though.
No, the
It's a very
ending was
pleasant
so
one.
good. I have the ending like
Yeah.
used to have that as my ringtone.
Oh, nice. That's a good
Yeah,
choice.
yeah. No, but I had to change. People started looking at me like, oh, that's a weeb.
When you're out on the town and everyone's just looking at you like, oh, that's a weeb. Yeah. I've started to care less and less. I'm doing like my kanji learning app in the classroom setting. I just don't give a shit. I don't care anymore. Come at me, brothers and sisters. It's taken me years, but I've opened myself up to this.
No, I like secretly sneak in anime songs as my like anime OSTs as my ringtone. Currently, I have the one of the Devilman Crybabies OST as my ringtone. I think it's called like cheesy drop. That's the name of the soundtrack. So I got that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
it is
as
cheesy
that is going
sounding,
for
and
me.
I like it.
Yeah, it's a really good OST.
Like, I like it when you can say cheesy drop, and I'm like,
And
oh
you know
yes,
the name.
cheesy drop. I recall this one. Okay, best VA performance Japanese. I feel like we can just fly through this one. Like, I think we can just say it.
Yeah, it's Mamoru Miyano.
Yeah, it's your man. It's your man that you love.
Yep.
That we all love. That everyone should love.
Everyone should love. Mamoru Miyano's like such a great guy. If they had, I'm blanking out on his name. Kamiya Hiroshi, right?
Mm-hmm.
The guy who does the voice acting for the Araraki. He did voice acting for some guy. I'm just blanking out on the character. Probably the character wasn't that prominent. That's why they didn't nominate him. No, he's most popularly known for. It'll take me some time to actually gather his name. So you just go for what you have to say. If I remember it, I'll just say it.
I don't really have like basically. I mean, these other people that I've seen, they all did a solid job. I'm happy for them. You all done good, folks.
It's just a shame that you were.
It's just.
Yeah, it's a shame that they were in the same category as this man.
Yeah, this man. I mean, he sold it. He made that character. Like, the voice performance is absolutely what defines that character for me. I don't feel that way about any of these other ones here. Despite, I mean, like, two of them I haven't seen, so as always, my opinion is incomplete. So perhaps one of them would overtake that for me. But just the way that voice over performance defines that character and how wonderfully dynamic and funny and goofy and absurd it is.
And Mamoru Miyano was also in like Tadakun. He played one of the friend characters. So yeah, his performance there were also like just great. He was just being Mamoru Miyano being himself. So yeah, I was noticing that most of the roles he plays is just him being himself. So yeah, that's probably why everybody loves him so much.
They cast him in the right roles, you know? Cast him in the right roles. So then it all works out. I don't think I've watched a single dub this year.
Yeah, just for like for the nostalgic value and my respect for the man, Christopher Sabat. You have my vote. I respect that man so much. He has changed the like anime voice acting industry so much, has so much influence in this industry. So just for that, my man.
That's fair. You know, I'm gonna abstain personally. I'm gonna abstain from voting for this one because I have no clue. I don't know anything. But definitely Christopher Sabat is a nice bloke. Then we get best director here.
This is a tough one.
Okay, I'm gonna sound like I'm saying this at risk of sounding like a total idiot. I don't know enough about what the director's job is specifically in any of these shows to make any sort of informed decision.
Yeah, I get what you're going for.
Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah, because it sounds like a moronic thing. Because to me, like at this point, now I'm just voting kind of for which one of these series I guess I feel is most well put together. I don't know though, man. Maybe I'm just a dumbass.
No, you're one of the smartest people I know.
Outing myself.
Don't down yourself like that.
Oh, thank you, sir. You're such a nice guy.
No,
but
to be honest,
do you know more about that? Like,
to be honest,
maybe
like,
I'm just
seeing how much influence like directors had on this show. I think the ones that stand out the most to me, I think because Megalobox feels more like a team effort, right? And I can't say anything about Banana Fish because I didn't find the direction to be that great, and I didn't watch Planet With. I should watch. I've heard good things about it. Yeah. So like,
Yeah, that's a good show.
I
It was
think
enjoyable.
talking about like directors' influence on the show, I think Masaki Yuasa has the strongest presence out of all of them. Personally, I would have loved to vote for Violet Evergarden, but like as a director's position, I would really I can't like ignore the man's like work and the like. You can see the director in the show if you get what I'm trying to say.
With Devilman Crybaby?
Yeah, you can like feel his presence in the show.
Yeah, and that's kind of the part, because that makes me lean towards that. But then part of me goes like, well, yeah, totally. But then I look at these other ones, like for example, A Place Further Than the Universe. I didn't love that show. I didn't think it was as good as most other people seem to think it was. But it was like a beautifully put together show. It was absolutely wonderful. And how it presented itself. And it's like, maybe that director was just frickin' a champion. Maybe they were just taking over the town with this, as it seems they did, really. Yeah. But I don't know anything about what their job was. But like you said, I look at Devilman Crybaby and I go, I know Masaki Yuasa was at the head of this immediately. So for that reason, I guess I'm going to go with that one as well. But anyway, so yeah, that's where the tricky business comes in. I guess we can go on to best animation though now. I am so perplexed right now. I'm very confused about like.
Oh, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
So hard. I mean, like you go first, and I have a lot of things.
I'm
to
excited
say.
for your opinion. Bloom Into You, a very, very great show. I'll save more of my opinions on that for later, though. I really love that show. Was the animation
same?
Was the animation better than I think it was?
No, it was pretty standard. They did a good job of presenting what was there. I wouldn't say the animation was a strong point of the series.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a shame that this is the only category it is in.
Yeah.
Because it deserves more nominations.
It totally does, and this seems like the wrong one. It deserves to be.
Yeah, it deserves to be in the ending category as well. The ending is like just so catchy and like poppy.
Yeah, for sure. Like if they had an aesthetics category, I would possibly vote for that one. It was very soft. It kind of reminded me of Tanaka Kuna's Always Listless. It gave me that similar vibe.
That show
of softness and pleasantness, and I adore that show, and I adore its vibes. So when I was watching this one, and it gave me similar feelings, I was loving it. But best animation, like what? What? Why? Why is this its only category? What's going on? Now that I've got that out of the way,
it's such a shame.
What are your feelings on this?
I don't know. Like Megalobox was pretty good aesthetically, right? But I wouldn't say it was good animation wise, because there were a lot of like still frames, like beautifully drawn still frames, right? Yeah. Like the key animation, my bad. The key animation was really good, but like I'm really conflicted with Devilman Crybaby and Violet Evergarden because I have like. In my mind, Devilman has this different kind of aesthetic and the animation like complements it. But with Violet Evergarden, it's just such a powerhouse of production. And like, it just stands atop of everything I've ever seen in terms of animation. My personal favorite anime film of all time, like Your Name. I love that film to death. But that is also like great aesthetically. But Violet Evergarden just like, is so good. I don't think like any of these shows compared to it in terms of animation. Like if you're talking about aesthetic, it like Devilman might have a little edge on it, but just straight up in terms of animation, I think Violet Evergarden is unrivaled in this category.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. It's actually a show. Like I didn't like it all that much. I thought it was pretty good, but I almost feel like I should go back to it. Now that I'm aware, like, okay, the story wasn't necessarily for me. I kind of want to go back and just watch it to pay more attention to the artistry on display there and the technical marvel and achievement that show is on the level of, you know, it's a television production that throughout its whole run looks and feels like a very, very high quality animated film.
Yeah, it was just, it felt like the effort that was put into Redline over the years was just brought together into a single series, and just it was so beautiful. Like each episode was like such a like pleasant treat to your eyes. That's, another thing is that the thing that I love about this show is not even the animation actually.
Oh yeah.
The episode, everybody knows the episode 10, about 10, right? So episode 10 didn't have the like that wasn't the best animated episode, but that was like my favorite episode. So I don't know, like the show like is greatly animated, but I don't think that is the reason why I love the show.
Is episode 10 the one
deserves,
with
like,
the little girl?
Girl,
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like that show just that episode just tore me apart.
Yeah, for people who are looking for something, to tug at your heartstrings and who are open to that, that is definitely a great show to go to. It does a lot right in that regard.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, to me, it's like an easy vote, definitely for Violet Evergarden. I guess. Now we have, best film. I've only seen one of these, which is the My Hero Academia 2 Heroes movie, and I would be absolutely astounded and shocked if that was the best of these. It was an okay film, not great.
Yeah. No, I haven't. This is the only category where I haven't seen anything.
Okay, so we'll abstain from that then. I think we'll skip over that one. That's okay. We've done a pretty good job this time. We know most of the stuff, but this is a good one. Best character design.
So I don't know how to judge it.
Yeah, it's hard because there's a lot of great stuff here. On one hand, you have these dramatic redesigns in Devilman Crybaby that take this older source material and just update it into this director's unique style in a way that felt to me to be quite natural. On the other hand, you have the sheer complexity of the clothing in Violet Evergarden and the way that they still managed to animate that so fluidly, and those two things play off each other. And then there's the more gritty aesthetic of Megalobox, the more gritty old school aesthetic that makes it just a pleasure to watch. And then something like Zombieland Saga, where a lot of it is propelled by the designs of all the various girls and them having unique characteristics, and on top of that, the fact that they're all they all have alternate forms as zombies. Those other two shows, JoJo and Agretsuko, I have not seen though.
Agretsuko, yeah, I can't comment on Agretsuko, but about JoJo is that like JoJo is like so infamous, not infamous, like famous, famously known for his character designs. Like just the character designs are just like so out there. Like each a character's design basically just shows so much about their personality in the show. Like there's a character in the show, Bucharati, the white guy in front. His power is to like add zips to anything. Yeah, that might sound stupid, but
to add what
it's
to
a pretty
anything?
strong power. Zips. Zippers.
Like he just adds zips to things.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I have to watch more of that show because I know it
Yeah.
just gets nuts, and I've only seen like the first 8 episodes or something.
Oh, the first 8 episodes are like the most toughest part to actually get through.
Okay, that's good to know because
It
I was
gets-
kind of perplexed by why it's like it didn't seem bad. I just thought maybe it wasn't for me. But if it improves, that's a good thing.
Yeah,
to know.
like coding Anakin Skywalker. The fun is beginning right now. I just butchered that line. This is where the fun begins. Okay, yeah.
Awesome. I think for me, for this one, I honestly don't really know. I'm kind of leaning towards Megalobox. Just because I really loved the aesthetic of that show. That's a lot of what pulled me through, and the character designs are a lot of that aesthetic. So I think I'm leaning towards that show personally. How are you feeling about which one?
Aesthetic was like a really strong part of Megalobox. But when it comes to like, if you're just, there should have been like a different category for aesthetics just for Megalobox.
Yeah, that's true.
It feels to me, but like, just for like, if it's just strictly based on character designs and how much like character design also have to include how much it speaks about the characters.
Oh, that's fair, yeah.
And like, how much it's like able to make you like understand, like when you look at a character, how much you can understand about that character. So for me, I think it's like, I don't know, I don't want to vote for JoJo because that seems like just cheating.
It's too powerful. It's too powerful.
It's too powerful.
Oh man.
But like, I don't know. I'm leaning more towards Zombieland Saga on this one.
That's fair. Yeah, I definitely see that. It does communicate, like, a lot about their characters is communicated through those designs, I think. And they're very striking and strong designs. Before we do anime of the year, do you want to jump over to like best fight scene and best continuing series?
Yeah, we'll save the big
boy,
the big bad
the big
for the
boy
last.
for last.
Big boy for last.
The fight scenes, I've seen 3 of these, and that's the Hinamatsuri.
I have. I've seen all of.
You've seen all of them. Okay, that's good. So you have a more knowledgeable opinion of this than I do.
Yeah.
Based on my knowledge of it.
Yep.
For me, it's like very hard to decide between the frenetic insanity of Devilman Crybaby and the absolute hilarity of Hinamatsuri. So I can't really choose between those two right now. I haven't figured out which one, but which since you know about all these, like which ones do you feel are best, and what do you feel about them?
I think like the first thing I would like to like clear out to everyone, animation doesn't mean better fight scenes.
Yeah.
So like if that's like out of the way, I would like really love to like talk about the like fight scenes should have like a weight behind them and like have like stakes and like should be like you should like be like, oh my god, they did this, oh my whoa, how did he do that, how did he pull that off? So like fight scenes should hold that. So
that's a good point.
It's the only one seems like even like worthy enough to be in here is like Satan versus Devilman. And like Hina versus Anzu is just like a personal favorite. So
because it's so funny.
On like
it's so funny.
You remember the time like in the podcast we did about the seasonal show, I explained the fight scene to you.
Oh yeah.
And you
because I hadn't seen it yet, right?
I told you like the fight scene. Yeah, I explained like what happens, and you were like, "Oh my god, it snapped the neck." You're like, "What?"
So I was very that definitely made me want to watch that show, and I'm happy I did because I really like that show. It's a great show. But I like what you're saying though about all the stakes and characters and the context of the fight scene. You know, that matters a lot too. So you've convinced me. You know,
even out of like everything in here, I would have like replaced like Jiren versus Goku was a good fight because of the hype behind it. Then Naruto and Sasuke versus Momoshiki was really good to watch. It was like really great aesthetically. I don't think Yami versus Lynch deserves to be here. Like I don't know who picked it up. Like it had some good cuts in the fight, but overall the fight, even the fight animation wasn't good because like Naruto and Sasuke and versus Momoshiki had this advantage that the fight was completely fluidly animated.
Oh, okay, nice.
But with like Yami versus Lynch, I personally love Yami. Yami is basically like like a character, like an anime, like a shonen anime protagonist who has like completed his arc and is like teaching the next generation.
That's a cool idea.
So he's kind of like so he's basically like that kind of character, and I love the fight originally when I read it in the manga, but it had good cuts, but I don't think it deserves to be here. I think the fight like that deserves to be here, and I would have like blindly voted for that fight here if that one was here, was Deku versus Muscular in My Hero Academia season 3, because I think like that fight held so much weight and like showed why like Deku is such a great protagonist, and like how far he would go for other people.
Yeah, I agree that I would put that in here. I definitely put that in here before All for One versus All Might. Easily put that one in.
Yeah, because All for One versus All Might is the same as Jiren versus Goku. It was all the hype. Yeah, I understand the character like arc of All Might ending with All for One, but I think if like solely on fight scenes, I would like blindly just go for Deku versus Muscular. Other than that, I think Satan versus Devilman is second for me.
Yeah, and I honestly like, for me, you know, as far as weight is concerned, that was honestly a big problem I felt with the season 3 of My Hero Academia for All for One versus All Might, because I was only caring about that fight because of what I had been told through the show, not as much what I had actually seen happen. Like, I think it would have helped to know more about All for One to make that fight mean more. Maybe stuff like that happens later in the manga, I'm not sure. But as far as putting it here, I didn't find it to be that exciting personally. I thought it was a good fight scene, but not that great for me.
And like, yeah, if you're like talking about the fight scene in itself, I think the adaptation of the fight actually killed the fight's hype. Actually, if they adapted this fight better, I would have like voted for it. But the thing is that they failed to adapt the actual weight behind the fight, because I don't know like how many people caught that. Like, if you go to the villain best antagonist category, the picture they have of like All for One, that is like the people who understand what he's doing there. That is such a sinister thing and such a wild thing to do to the poor, like to All Might, because I wouldn't spoil anything, right? So like when people actually watch the show and they like catch that little detail he does, because in the manga it was just like a single panel, like a small little panel there in which he did that, and that little panel just made me hate that guy so much, right? And I don't know, like I actually was reading My Hero Academia when like it was actually publishing, and this fight came. So the scene where like everybody's cheering for All Might held so much weight. Like I was just crying just there. Like I was like, you remember the time when you were a little child and you used to like yell like, yeah, Goku, take my spirit power, and stuff like that. So I was just like a little child, like cheering for All Might when I read that fight. But when I saw that translated into the anime, there was something just missing.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Despite like I haven't read the manga, but I felt like there was something missing from that fight for me personally, that held it back a bit. But yeah, so that's that would have been your choice. I agree with your choice if it was here for sure.
Yeah. And there's like just another little thing I would like to add. From a technical standpoint, I think Sirius the Jaeger, nobody cares about that show actually. I was actually like going to make a video on specifically the fight animation in that show, because the fight animation and direction in the show was the only thing that like made me interested in that show remotely. But as the series went, it just completely went like downhill.
Oh dang.
So like only the first 3 episodes like worth watching, because they have the best fight scene like that I've seen actually.
Oh yeah.
Because there's a fight in there in which he actually fights in the garden of like some Japanese like person there was, whose home they were staying at. So there was this lady who has like blades for like limbs. So there was a fight between the main character who uses a three handle nunchuck. So yeah, that fight basically was like it involved the surrounding and the environment so much that it actually made like it really interesting to watch. So I think that fight would have been like another one of my choices here. But yeah, for doing with what all we have here, I think Satan versus Devilman is just, like, that's my vote.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. I'm on the Satan versus Devilman train right now because of you. You've convinced me.
Yep.
The best continuing series, I've seen none of these. I don't know what you've seen though.
Okay. I would like highly recommend that Loat you watch like March Comes in Like a Lion.
Yeah, I definitely want to watch
that. That is such a beautiful show. It is such a beautiful show. Like I'm voting for it because like I solely love this show so much. I've seen like actually I've seen all of these. Oh my god.
Even One Piece?
Like except for One Piece, yeah, I actually caught up to One Piece this year.
Crap. He's a madman.
Oh, yeah. So I don't know, like One Piece, like considering how it like was how how it's paced and everything, and the arc that is currently going on. I think the arc that followed over to mm, this year. This year would be more suiting for One Piece actually.
Oh, okay.
In like to be in 2019 category, because the part they're adapting of the manga. I don't know, like One Piece is like a really strong contender as a continuing series if we talk about over the time, but as 2018 it's not. Then Boruto just fell flat after
Oh,
2017
dang.
after like one of its some major arcs. Then I would never vote for the anime of Black Clover,
Yeah.
even if like you held a gun to my head. Because the anime is just like a dumpster fire. Yeah,
Somebody's got a gun up to you.
just so
Like,
like
just vote for it. You're like, no, this is my hill to die on. I will not do it. I will not vote for that screaming man.
I just love to like go on YouTube and just listen to the remixes of Asta Screams. They are so good.
I think that should be like a subgenre of its own. That should be a genre of music, just called like Askacore, and it's just people remixing his scream.
Yeah.
I feel
I actually
so
like
bad for that actor because I know that his voice acting director or whoever was in charge there told him to do that, and now he's getting the hit for it. Don't hate on the man. He didn't do that. Somebody let him do that.
I don't like. I hate to like just say this like in between the podcast. I would have waited till the end, but I just need to add like when you said that, I actually have a video coming out on Black Clover just this Sunday. So I actually touched on the subject, the exact same subject, that how the voice acting director just forced the guy into like acting like that.
We think alike.
I have a little skit to that. I was like, I feel so bad for the guy. His larynx would be like so like messed up after like doing the screams. I think they have like a stock sound effect collection of the guy screaming. He just screamed like for days straight, and they were like, "Yeah, you can take a break for a month."
Can you send us in the screams by this Wednesday? And he's like, "What about the other lines?" They go, "Nah, most of it's just the screams. We don't really need the other lines." Oh, okay, guys. Okay. I'm happy that we're on the same page of feeling sorry for this guy, because when he's acting normally, it's totally fine. Somebody told him to yell though.
Yeah. Yeah, what do you need? So how should I deliver these lines? Yeah, just scream.
Scream them.
Okay.
Scream them. It's like, oh, okay, you want me to like do too much, and then we'll scale it back, right? Like we'll do too much, then you can tell me that's too much, and we'll scale it back. But no, they just use that anyway. Madmen.
Yeah, they're like, just like, too much is never too less.
There's no such thing as too much for whoever made those decisions in Black Clover. But I'm sure fans of that show are just like so tired of hearing people focus on that one
Oh my
aspect.
god.
They probably just want to punch somebody.
Yeah.
So you know what? If you like Black Clover, that's wonderful. Enjoy your show.
Just know that we feel sorry.
Yeah, we feel sorry for that voice actor. So yeah, I'll definitely check out March Comes in Like a Lion though.
It's a beautiful show. Yeah, like Ancient Magus' Pride just fell flat during the second half, but yeah, March Comes in Like a Lion stays strong throughout.
Nice.
So this is my pick.
Sounds good.
So now,
Dun 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 dun. That's my drum roll with my mouth.
real big boy awards.
It is the biggest boy. The biggest boy of all. And the biggest boy that I'm upset with. But we'll get back to that later. So what are your feelings about these choices?
I'm really happy that they have Hina Matsuri
That's
here.
true. I am happy about that.
I'm happy. I never expected it to be here, but I'm actually happy. So there was a thing that Crunchyroll did. They were asked people for their like what they would like to guess what they would like pick. So I got like 3 of them right, because I just knowing how Anime Awards worked, I just picked them up based on the popularity, right?
Yeah.
And how I thought like shows which are good and are popular. So I got a place further than the universe, Devilman Crybaby and Violet Evergarden, right?
Nice.
I didn't pick Megalobox because of some reason I thought it wasn't popular enough. I don't know why I did that, but
well, I haven't heard about it too much. I've heard about it more
so-
recently again now that it has been nominated.
yeah. So that was there. So my picks were like A Place Further Than the Universe, Devilman Crybaby, Violet Evergarden, and based off popularity, I thought that My Hero Academia season 3 would be there because they don't have like a restriction kind of thing, like sequels not included or included. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I had that, and I had Bunny Girl Senpai and Darling in the Franxx. And Darling in the Franxx was just straight up because of the popularity.
Yeah.
And Bunny Girl Senpai actually I feel like deserved to be here. But I think they have Zombieland Saga instead of that here. So I don't personally like it's a really controversial thing to say that I don't think Zombieland Saga deserves to be here. But
Oh, hell yes.
like this show
Hell
has
yes.
had
We're on the same page, my boy.
Okay, you're okay. Okay, you are. Oh, thank God.
I like feel very strongly.
Oh,
about
thank
this.
God. Oh, thank
Like,
God.
I understand people enjoying the show, but I think I felt overwhelmingly just disappointed in it by the end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Of course. As a show, Zombieland Saga like was good. I would like give it like 7.4 if I'm being generous.
Yeah.
But like all of the other shows here that are in this category, they're like just 8.5 and above for me. And Zombieland Saga is the only one which is like under even like 7.5.
Yeah, and I think part of that might be like maybe part of the difference is that like Hinamatsuri, there's more to adapt, but as it stands, I'm happy with it. I don't feel like it needs to have any more. And then these 4 other ones are complete, effectively.
Yep.
So then Zombieland, it's kind of
Yep.
strange. Not that that means that it shouldn't be able to be nominated, but like
Yeah.
my feeling on it was that I absolutely adored the first 2 episodes of Zombieland Saga. I loved it for how absurd and strange and wacky it was. But then as it moved along, it slowly became more of this sort of episode by episode character study. And that's not to say that's bad. That's totally fine. Maybe people are on board, but you know, I was really ready for it to get more absurd as opposed to less. I thought that it was just going to ramp that up right until it was just more than Kill la Kill, and we'd be watching the most insane show. But as it went from this absurdist comedy that could have some potentially satirical elements to hone in on to being an idol show that happens to be about zombies.
Like I thought, like by the end, from what I've seen for I saw the first 2 episodes. I expected it to just end up into like your good old idol show kind of stuff, which is like idols in space.
Yeah, that's what take
Would
them
have
up
been
to
so
space,
absurd,
put
like,
them in
yeah.
the Franks and cart them off. But yeah, so I don't know. That was my feeling. I know a lot of people really felt very strongly about how much they loved that show.
I think it was more of like a connection with the characters than the show that people felt, and they aren't able to like distinguish between that.
Oh, like how so? How so do you mean?
For example, I don't want to touch on the subject because ever since like I've made one video on a controversial subject, and I don't want to be associated with controversial subject, but Lily Hosokawa, I really love her character. I loved her character from the moment she was on, like her first appearance. I loved the character even before her whole arc was there. So like another big thing with like Lily, I think Lily is like Lily and Saki are like the 2 strong like characters from the series.
Yeah.
Because of which I think this show managed to like become so like strong, like popular, and like why people love it so much. Because I think the first reason is Saki. Lily is much more like a representative of a certain group of people in the series.
Like I don't know if saying that would be a spoiler for some people, so I'll leave it be. But I definitely agree with you there. My one thing there would be that I think if somebody said to me that this was their favorite show of the year and those characters were like the reason, then it's like for sure, that's just as good as any reason I can give anyone that it'd be a favorite, but it certainly didn't make it a favorite for me. Although like with her character and what she goes through, I was watching it, I was thinking, like, for people who've gone through something similar, it must be really nice to see this.
Yeah.
So that made me kind of happy for them. So I hope people who can connect with that deeply see this show, and it really makes them feel some happy feelings. Absolutely. But yeah, not my favorite.
I think, like, I just want to say, like, I think Bloom Into You would have been like a better choice instead of Zombieland Saga if we went by like actual like good shows.
We're on the same page again. I was like, yes, that should be here. I don't understand. Well, I do understand. I don't really expect it to be here, but I wish it was, because Bloom Into You, if people have been missing out, people have been sleeping on this show, it's something special. If you want a love story that's not the usual love story, if you want to see some different types of people getting represented, some different sorts of feelings, maybe you're a more laid back person who doesn't understand the over the top romance that we've grown accustomed to, check out Bloom Into You, because it is a real banger. It is a real banger.
It's a real banger. It's so beautiful. Like, I can't even like put words to describe it, actually.
Oh, it's lovely. The aesthetic, the music, the voice acting, the characters, the story, it all makes this wonderful little package that makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside, while also making me feel like I'm reconsidering. Like, that show makes me kind of reconsider how to write romantic relationships. And that might be one of the best compliments I can give any story, is that it makes me rethink how I would go about approaching that subject.
Because we all have like experienced so much that we have a certain kind of mindset regarding some genres. But if like a show comes and like changes our mind regarding the whole genre of that, like the show is about, so like that's a real big compliment.
Yeah, it's
for any show to like just change the mindset of a person, or like how they think about a certain like genre as a whole. That's a really difficult feat to accomplish.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, and for me, I think if that was here, I would vote for that one as my favorite. I think that is my favorite show of the year, with my second one probably would be maybe Hinamatsuri, but that's probably tied with Devilman for me. Since it's not here, I don't know which one of those.
Like, I'm so happy to see Hinamatsuri. I forgive them just for having Hinamatsuri here, for not having Bloom Into You. Hinamatsuri is such a joy in life.
I kind of just hope it wins, because it would be very unexpected but beautiful.
Yeah.
Because that show is so fun.
Yeah. It's like kind of the underdog kind of series here. But personally, I think a thing that you missed out on, like, understand. A lot of people, I think, missed out on the like. A lot of people I talk to regularly, like, missed out on the thing that I enjoy about like a place further than the universe, because I think I came into this like voting because all of these are like really strong contenders. Like Hinamatsuri, I would love to vote for it, but I just can't, like, I have to vote for a place further than the universe.
Okay, yeah.
Because this show like started out for me, like, I was so angry that they aren't working on like One Punch Man season 2. Then I saw this show, I was like, what is this moe kind of garbage? But then I watched the show, I was like, oh, this is really good. Right. And I think this thing that makes me love this episode so much is the same reason that I love the episode. Like, there's episode 10 in Violet Evergarden, and there's episode 9 in A Place Further Than the Universe.
Okay.
Episode 9 just tied me. Like, I think it's more of a personal reason.
Yeah.
Which like tied me together with this show. Episode 9, basically, you just I'm not spoiling anything. For the people who've seen episode 9, they know, like, the moment like the event took place, that was such a significant thing for like Shiraise's character, right?
The one with the black hair, right?
So yeah.
Because
the you've seen the show, the laptop scene.
Oh, yes. That is a good scene.
That was such a like beautiful thing. I don't want to go into the loopholes, like emails don't work like that. Yeah. But
oh, that is a great scene. I totally
helps.
forgot about it, but now that you're saying it, bringing it up, and that was a very good scene.
that was just so beautiful. Like that moment,
Mm-hmm.
like it's just like seeing a flower you have like thought that was gone. Like when you see a flower that you thought was dead, then you wake up the next morning and see that the flower is blooming like in full
Yeah.
grace. Like that is, I think, the only analogy I can like think. It's not a really good analogy,
Yeah.
but I think that's
No,
the
I
way
get
I
it.
can
It's like when
explain it.
there is like a power in fiction of making temporary things permanent in a way, or making it feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a moment in
Yeah.
that show that really played on that emotion and that the feelings that come with that, I think, in a very wonderful way. And that, like, A Place Further Than the Universe is a show that connects with a lot of people really deeply. And it didn't for me. I'm not really sure why it didn't. I don't know. Like, the message in there wasn't maybe one that I feel I needed at this point, but it is a wonderful message. It connected with a ton of people, and I really like. I think this one's gonna win it. I think it's gonna win it quite easily, personally.
No, I think Wild Evergarden has much more like popularity
Oh, you think
behind it
so?
for it to win.
Oh,
Yep.
you know what? That might be a good point. Is there a distinction between people voting and like the judges voting?
Yeah, there are two different votes, like the results that come out. There's a judge result, and there's like the popularity result.
Oh, okay. Well, I think it's gonna win one of those. I'm not sure which. I think it
Yep.
will. And you know, people. There's so many videos on that show of just people talking about their personal experiences with it that it almost became like a meme. Because I saw one app that was a bit later than the others talking about their personal experiences with it, and somebody in the comments was like, "Wow, a meta commentary on A Place Further Than the Universe. I've never seen that before." I'm like, hey, you dangus, this person opened up their heart. Doesn't matter how many people thought this was a great show that did that. Yeah. So that makes me really happy for the creators. I mean, assuming that they saw any of that stuff, that must be very gratifying, because it's very clear that that was the MO of the show, was to inspire people, and it clearly inspired people, and it clearly succeeded in that regard.
It's also like a thing for like people who want to just leave everything behind and just go traveling.
Yeah, that's true.
Like travel to any place. Like this is also kind of like they also connect to this show in a way.
Absolutely. That's good. I think I've said everything I have to say about this stuff. I don't know. Do you have anything else you want to add about the anime awards?
Yeah, I don't have anything else. Just like nominations. Like, why is there not a like soundtrack category? I'm so disappointed.
Yeah, because for me it would easily be Devilman Crybaby. I love that soundtrack. It's amazing.
Yeah, Devilman was great.
Megaloboxes was fantastic as well, and I'm sure there are many others I'm not remembering off the top of my head that were very, very good.
Yeah, just to add a little bit more, I think I said like it was Violet Evergarden, but like just considering how powerful the popularity and the craze was behind Zombieland Saga to get it nominated, I think there might be a chance that Zombieland Saga can win.
I'll be deeply perturbed if it wins.
Same.
I don't know what. I'm trying to think of like something I'll do to myself if it wins, and I can't think of anything. I'll like,
you'll become a zombie, then become an idol.
Yeah, I'll rebrand. Well, okay, maybe I can't promise this because I don't know if I can convince my fiance to do it. But if Zombieland Saga wins this, I will try to convince her to make my logo into a zombie of the current logo, and I will keep it that way for a month in honor of this stupid show. If either category wins it. It's not a stupid show. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that.
No, it's not stupid. It's not a stupid show. It's just like, it's a good show, not a great show.
I'll just convince everyone that I think I'm like a mega fan of Zombieland Saga by having my avatar. Seems like a fun thing to do.
Yeah, and your avatar has like the idol clothing.
Yeah, that'll be even hard to convince her, right? I have no artistic merit in that regard, so I would have to try to get her to do that. And trying to get her to do that, I'll have to buy her sushi or something. That's expensive, man. But anyway, so it was awesome having you on for this. As always, it was absolutely great. I encourage
Thank
people to
you.
go check out your stuff. It'll be linked in the description. I'll probably link it in a pinned comment too, since people are more likely to see it. But yeah, do you have anything or any way you want to plug your channel for the people?
Watch my Gurren Lagann video if you want to understand my me as a person and my channel. Like if you want to understand my kind of content, just watch my slime video. And if you want to understand me as a person, watch my Gurren Lagann video. And I don't know, you can watch anything.
I'll link to those two.
Just don't watch my Goblin Slayer video. Don't watch my
don't
Goblin
watch
Slayer
that
video.
one?
Please, for God's love. Yeah, please don't. That was just a result of like pent up anger and frustration and like sleep deprivation.
But it's your most viewed one, right?
Yep.
Oh no.
I hate that so much.
No. Oh no. That's okay.
Not my proudest creation.
Well,
But yeah.
That's how it goes. That's how it seems to go sometimes. But I'll link to your slime video and I'll link to the Gurren Lagann video so that people can immediately go to some of your favorite ones, because that'll be awesome. You've been working hard. You're a hard-working boy, and I hope that more people will find and enjoy your stuff.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, yeah, it was a pleasure having you on. I hope all of the listeners enjoyed listening to our opinions on this. Let us know in the comments below what your opinions on this are, on all of these different categories or whichever one you're interested in.
And what your choices. Just tell us what you voted for. We would love to see that.
Yeah, that'll be cool to see kind of, everybody's going to just put Zombieland Saga. Everyone's going to do it.
So best protagonist, Zombieland Saga. Best boy, Zombieland Saga. Best opening. Zombieland Saga should have a go at the best opening sequence. It's pretty late to say that, but it should have had a go at that.
That was a great opening sequence. You know what? Yeah, if I'm going to rag on this show, I better compliment it. That opening sequence was great. It had a lot of great stuff in it.
Yep.
It had some great music in there too. Maybe if there was a soundtrack one, it could have slipped right on in there,
Yeah.
We're late to do that, but yes. Anyway, it was great having you on. I guess this is the podcast. That's all for now, folks. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Stay classy.